Hey everyone, we're breaking down NFC rookie landing spots today. So crack a cold one and have some fun with us. And make sure to click subscribe below.
In a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option, we present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
He loves to plow over people. He's very aggressive. I mean, he's not young anymore, but he's old and aggressive. Wait, he's young. What? He's aggressive. What? He's good looking. What? And he scores.
No, I was busy doing the chicken dance or whatever it's called.
All right.
3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Triple Coverage Podcast. My name is Travis Sutton. I'm here with the brothers Ups, James Up and Jay Up.
What's up, guys?
Whoop whoop.
And welcome. We are doing rookie running back landing spots. The draft has happened. Things are starting to settle in. Rookie OTAs or rookie mini camps are going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm having problems with my throat right now. But we're going to
Fix
get
that.
into the NFC guys that got drafted into the NFC. We'll do 2 episodes of all the drafted running backs. AFC we'll cover in the next episode. But today we're going to jump right into the NFC. Is there anything you guys want to touch on or talk about or bring up before we get rolling?
One thing I thought was interesting when kind of breaking down the NFC and the AFC was that it was pretty equal.
So 21 running backs drafted.
Who got the better, though? NFC, right? Obviously, the first 2 off the board were NFC.
Yeah, first go off the board, but I think the AFC did a pretty good job too myself. I mean, they had 11 running backs they drafted, and the NFC that we're going to talk about today had 10. So that's pretty even to me.
Yeah, I
actually.
think the same. He had it actually broken down in his paper. I'd have to actually look at the entire list, but it looks pretty similar.
I think at the top of the draft, NFC did a little bit better.
Yeah.
But deeper in the draft, the
Middle
AFC
rounds.
probably did a little better. But hey, only time will tell, really.
And undrafted free agent wise, the NFC did a lot better. They had a lot more signings.
Yes, I can't wait to hear those because I didn't get as far as you into that, and I'm excited to kind of see what undrafted free agents ended up in the NFC.
Yeah, we'll touch on those.
All right,
Let's start with the top.
All right, the number 1 overall pick in the 2018 NFL Draft. Or I'm sorry, the number 2 overall pick.
Number 2.
I got a little
Number 1 was your boy. You got Baker on the mind.
a little squirrely there.
Got Baker on the mind.
So, Saquon Barkley, born in the Bronx, New York. He's only going to be 21 at the start of the season, so he's a nice young back. He's got a good size, 5'11", about 230-ish. He goes to the New York Giants, who couldn't run a lick last year, but he lands in the Big Apple.
Along with one of the toughest schedules, the strength of schedule wise, he actually has a really tough schedule.
Maybe that's a housewarming gift for the NFL?
It's going to be put to the test right away because now, like we talked about, the NFC East is completely loaded at running back.
The running backs that are in the NFC East.
We got
is brutal.
Elliott, Barkley,
Guys.
And then
And
the
then,
Eagle,
Jade,
The Eagles got about 40.
Whoever.
running backs.
the Eagles committee though, as a committee, they run well. It's not just one guy that runs well. They have like a good system there.
Well,
so.
they're like Voltron. They all
Yeah, but do
get
we-
together and they're a monster.
Do we
Right.
think that the Giants have made that many different moves on the offensive line to make Barkley a significant player as far as like a top guy? His very first year, does he just walk right in as a running back 1? Is what I want to know. This first year, does he finish in a normal PPR league for fantasy? We're talking here. Does he finish as a running back 1 right away?
Yes,
Year 1, really?
because I think he catch. And
Yeah.
that's what's going to help him.
You think he can catch?
That's what's going to help
I
him.
think this kid can catch as well. I think we've seen that. This is the thing. He's going to be the focal point. He's going to get the volume,
He'll be the focal point over Odell Beckham?
No, the run game.
the run
Well,
game.
okay. But they couldn't run, you just said last year, so
They couldn't run with Paul Perkins and Wayne Gallman and Orleans Darkwa.
Shane Vereen.
wow.
They did address some of those needs in the draft. They did draft some offensive line help. They do have a new offensive-minded coach
Mm-hmm.
Pat Shermer.
who did some nice things in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think he could definitely be a RB1. I mean, if anybody's gonna like what we're spoiled with the last year or 2
Mhm.
with running backs that are coming out and they are hitting the ground running and immediately fantasy relevant, he's the guy. He's kind of broke the mold a little bit. He's one of those guys that he has everything. All the boxes are checked with Saquon Barkley.
Okay.
And we've seen him going as high as like 2 or 3 in dynasty startups.
He's gone in one, some that I've seen. I'm like, it's not out of the realm of to think that somebody's like, look, you know what? I'm going to take Saquon Barkley.
No, is there any chance that this fail? Like, I don't know why it just seems like it's every person is on. Have you heard of anyone at all that's down on Barkley for any reason at all? It just seems like it's literally, I've never heard of a guy talked about this much as being that much of a sure thing. Like, it's even the guys like DeAndre Hopkins and Odell Beckham and whatever. Like, now this guy is just the absolute cannot miss player of all time. Like,
It's not all time, but he's a can't miss.
Even when Elliott came out, like, yeah, it was in the rookie draft. Ezekiel Elliott was for sure the number one guy, and everyone was on him. But not like, I didn't feel like it was like this. This is like, he's getting to a point where it's absurd. He's going number one now in a dynasty startup without even touching the ball in OTAs.
His measurables and all that kind of stuff coming out of college is better than Elliott's.
And I think a lot of it has to do with these aren't people that are in their very first dynasty league. And what happens is you see the way that like Zeke Elliott exploded his rookie year. And then you see the way like Leonard Fournette and Alvin Kamara last year and Kareem Hunt and Christian McCaffrey. And so everyone's looking to get that rookie and not miss the boat. And so when you're talking about a dynasty league, and yeah, a lot of trades go down, but these guys, if the dynasty owner of Saquon Barkley wants to own him for the rest of his life, he's got him for the rest of his life, and he doesn't want to miss out on that. And I think that's what the point is that you've seen such an influx in running back ones that are rookies the last few years that everyone just figures that this is the next guy up. Saquon Barkley, he's going to be the next guy that's RB1.
And there's no chance any other running backs that come out in the top 4 outdo him this season? Scoring wise?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple that could, but I don't think that's going to happen.
There's always a chance, but
Yeah.
I mean,
So if you were to take a bet, both of you guys right now, and I said you can have either Saquon Barkley or the field,
I'll take Saquon.
how confident? Really?
Fantasy points wise?
I'll take the field. You want to do like
I
a
would
wall
take-
bet or
I
something?
would take Saquon as well.
Sure, I'll take a wall bet on that.
Well, I get every other running back that came out of the draft, and then
That
you
was
get
drafted.
just Barkley. Yeah, that's fine. And you get
we're-
Barkley.
And if Barkley gets injured, is the bet's void, right?
Sure.
Because you have 30 other guys that.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not. I love them. Trust me. If I'm at the number 6, 7 pick in a dynasty startup, I'll consider it. But
what's the stipulation as far as what's a win?
PPR scoring league. If any rookie running back outscores, Saquon Barkley.
Okay, stock like PPR.
Mhm, yeah.
Like, we'll just take yards and catches.
Yards,
Touchdown.
catches, full point for PPR. Yeah, and I'll take the field of every other guy because that's ridiculous.
All right.
Deal.
All right, number 2.
Rashad Penny.
Also went in the first round, right?
Yes, also in the first round. The Seahawks, they snag him. He's the second running back taken in this draft.
Before you go any further,
A surprise.
I was just going to say, are either one of you two surprised that he was the second running back taken with everyone else that was going up, leading up to the draft about the talent of the Chubbs and the Geis and everyone else? Is anyone else shocked?
100% shocked.
I would like to talk to the guy or the person that wasn't a little shocked that the Seahawks made this move. Yeah, I was very shocked.
We were there with Seahawks fans, and they were shocked.
He got up and stormed out of the bar.
Well, this is the site that we're looking at, just to call up the numbers here, or call off the players, is from ESPN, and they actually had him as the 5th-ranked running back that they thought was going to get taken in the draft, and he ends up going number 2. But if you're Seattle, you think you have your guy, I mean, you take him, right?
They needed help in the running game, and I feel like they addressed the offensive line. They probably had the worst offensive line in all of football last year. Russell Wilson was running for his life, and they left it all up to him to do that. And
have they improved their offensive line?
I thought they did. I thought that by adding Dwayne Brown and DJ Fluker, I think they addressed a little bit of that. Will they be a top 10 offensive line still? I don't think so, but they definitely improved on last year. And maybe that would help Penny out. He's very elusive.
I think he's one of my dark horse, and not even really dark horse anymore because now he went to Seattle. But I can't really say dark horse, but he's one of my picks to upset Barkley as far as taking him over in a PPR dynasty league, or a PPR league, I should say, for this first season. I think that if they use him like they say they're going to use him, and they kind of let Chris Carson kind of take a back seat and see what the rookie has, I honestly think that Rashad Penny can have a blow-up season for Seattle. You have a great quarterback in Russell Wilson. They still have Baldwin. I'm just not really sure what else they have, which could be beneficial to Penny because they might have to use him more in the passing game.
Yeah.
Or it could backfire the other way.
Yeah. I think the situation is better for Barkley. He's basically, it's very similar profile. Like, he's the same size as far as height. He's He weighs a little less at 220. Barkley's like 230-ish. He's a great pass catcher. His knock is the pass blocking. But it's a worse team, like on paper and from what we saw last year for Seattle. And I don't know if that necessarily helps. Like, yeah, you want that pass catcher who can kind of do those kind of things, but I think the situation's a little bit better in New York, honestly.
Well, you have to look at their divisions. They have to play each team twice in their division. In Barkley's division, you have the Cowboys, the Redskins, and the Eagles. Eagles are number one defense pretty much against the run, I believe, last year. Mm-hmm. Dallas is like probably average, and Washington's probably average, right?
Right, they're both middle of the road.
Then you look at Penny's division, you have the Rams, who just beefed up their entire defense, so they're going to be really strong. But then you have San Francisco, and you have Arizona that's not really that great. I think that Penny could do well in his division, except for the outside chance of the Rams, because the Rams are looking really strong there.
And I also think what's behind Penny or in the group with Penny is better than the group that's around Barkley.
For sure.
Well. So,
yeah, Barkley would have to just completely I don't see any realm that Barkley's not the starting running back every single game for the entire rest of the season, no matter how bad he plays. Whereas if Penny stumbles out of the gate, I could easily see Procise or Carson or any one of those other guys that's on that roster kind of step in and get chances.
I think with the way that Pete Carroll's talked him up this entire offseason, though, I think he's going to give him more than enough opportunities.
Well, the leash has got to be long with a first-round pick.
It's going to be super long. With the draft pedigree and the way they're kind of talking him up, they're not just going to run him out there in like 2 bad games. They're going to pull him. I think they're going to give him a long, long leash.
And I think those bad games aren't necessarily stat box. It's being able to protect your quarterback.
Right.
And if he's missing, like if he's as bad as it, I'm sure he's not as bad as it's kind of been made out to seem,
right? Blocking
on Twitter and everywhere. Yeah, that's probably his deficiency, and it's an area he can work on. But if he does like miff and just completely miss on a couple of key blocks and ends up getting his quarterback either hit really good or, God forbid, hurt a little bit, then that's what's going to hamper him to me. I think, you definitely give him all the shots in the world, even if he's not really necessarily performing, to get through a slump or whatever is going on. But putting your quarterback in danger is the one thing I think that would sideline him for a while.
Right.
Okay.
All right.
So next NFC. We're going to skip over one because he was AFC, correct?
Let's go over 2.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we did. Okay, so we got NFC. Who's the next NFC running back?
Ronald Jones, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he walks into a brilliant spot. They took him in the 2nd round, the 38th pick overall.
That's still pretty high. 2nd round pick.
But he walked right into a great spot because really all they had there was Peyton Barber and a couple other guys. They have Charles Sims, who they re-signed for a 1-year contract, and they have Jacquizz Rodgers, who I think is under 1 more year on his deal. So, in my opinion, they're probably going to run Ronald Jones, and Peyton Barber will be the guy that kind of spells him a little bit. I don't think Jones is ready for like a full workload. I don't think he's ready for, the 20 to 25 carry workload, but right. I think he's definitely a guy that's like a change of pace type of guy with Peyton Barber. I think they make a pretty good 1-2 punch. I don't know what do you guys feel about Ron Jones getting the goal line? You think that's Peyton Barber's job? He's a little bit bigger. 205 pounds is not very big, even though he's the same height as Saquon Barkley and Rashad Penny. He's just a little bit lighter than these guys by about 25 pounds.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know where this backfield is literally up in the air to me. Like, it depends on a lot of things. It depends on training camp. It depends on the preseason. I think this is going to be pretty much one of those positions that's like up in the air. And if he can prove himself early, then I think that he can get a spot there. And worst case scenario for him is he's going to be the pass catcher because I think he easily beats out Charles Sims for that spot. So it'll be Peyton Barber and Ronald Jones' job. But the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were only one of 2 teams last season that didn't have a 500-yard rusher. I don't think that happens this season. I think one of these guys will rush for over 500 yards pretty easily, but only time will tell who's actually getting the touches there.
He's fast, too. He's a guy that can take it to the house on pretty much any carry if he gets that opening.
What's your take on Ronald? You love him?
Love him? No, I don't.
You hate him?
I'm lukewarm on him. I like the situation where he went.
Me too.
I'm not super high on his profile. Like, he's a little bit of a tweener size for me. I don't like how light he is, and he doesn't really catch a lot of passes unless that just changes all of a sudden. Like, he caught 14 passes last year. Like, he pretty much caught like 1 pass in most of his games. But he did get a lot of attempts. Like, he had, I'll read off some of the games. 18, 23, 18, 14, 12, 17, 12, 18, 27, 25, 28, 30. Like, he gets a workload running, but he doesn't get a lot of work in the receiving game, in college anyway, at least this last year. Mm-hmm. So I think
I don't think that's going to hold up, though, in the NFL. I don't think he's going to have games. Like, you're going up against college kids.
No, but if he has a hot hand, what do they do? You're not going to pull him. If he's running and he's getting 6, 7, 8 yards to carry,
I know.
and Winston starts rolling,
205 yards in college and 205 pounds in college and 205 pounds in the NFL. He's going to take a beating if he's getting hit a lot out there. So and I think it's in Tampa Bay's best interest not to give him the ball 20 to 25 times, even though in college he did that.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying as far as him being ready for that, as far as his college career, he's experienced that before. And I agree with you. His size is what worries me a little bit, and his lack of pass-catching chops, so it seems. So, I mean, for me to really get on board with Ronald Jones, I would want to see the pass-catching thing kind of change a little bit.
But we've talked about that before, and that's what I hated about guys, that they said, oh yeah, he's a good pass catcher, he's good, he's cut out of the backfield catching ball, and then you go back and look at his stats and you're like, this guy's a good pass catcher and he caught 12 catches like his entire college career. It's because some offenses don't throw to the running back, and that's just a style the offense of college runs. But nowadays in the NFL, your running back kind of has to catch. Like almost every top running back is a PPR monster because they can catch. So if you want to be an elite running back or a running back one at any point in your career, you're going to have to learn how to catch at some point. But I just think that a lot of offenses in the college they don't care that your running back can't catch because they have so many other guys in different schemes that, it's
just not the way they run it. Like LSU is the same way. Like LSU doesn't throw their running backs.
That doesn't mean they can't catch.
Right. But he caught just fine last year. He didn't have a ton of drops. And I think the same thing happens with Darius Geis. Like, they just don't throw to Geis in college.
But he can catch.
He's
proved that at the combine. So,
yeah. Also with Ronald Jones, for me, he never scored a lot of touchdowns. Like
he won't be the goal line guy by any means.
That's what I meant. Like, it's probably Peyton Barber.
I mean, he had a decent amount of touchdowns. As far as hitting the goal line and being that big guy, like that offensive line has to be, I think, pretty good for him to really kind of get that real meaningful work. But
I agree.
I mean, a lot of people really like Ronald Jones. I guess I haven't seen him. Whoa. So we're moving on.
We are.
To Detroit.
Let's go.
They drafted.
Who?
Not Darius Geis.
No.
What? Who'd they draft?
Kerryon Johnson out of Auburn.
What?
He's the 6th running back taken. 21 years old when the season starts.
Mm-hmm.
He was taken 43 overall. 6 foot. 210, 215-ish.
That's kind of light for 6 foot.
Yeah, that's one of my issues. I mean, it could very well not be much of an issue. You've seen guys do that, but over the history, that little bit of weight makes a difference as far as guys that get the rock a lot. But I do like Kerryon Johnson. Like, I like him more than Ronald Jones myself.
Me too. I think the best scenario for this Detroit backfield is to start Kerryon Johnson as a first and second down back with Theo Riddick as the pass catching guy on third downs. If we get a lead, then you put in LeGarrette Blount in the second half, maybe fourth quarter, and you alternate between Kerryon Johnson and LeGarrette Blount with fresh legs, and then let LeGarrette Blount kind of hammer down the tired defense, because we've never, in Detroit, I'm a Detroit Lions fan, have never had a big back to kind of take over that game. Every time we got a lead, we had to keep throwing and not run out the clock because we didn't have a guy that was able to run between the tackles and keep the clock rolling. Yeah, keep the clock rolling. And I think Kerryon Johnson can definitely do that, but I really feel confident that LeGarrette Blount will do that. So keep LeGarrette Blount fresh, put him in the second half, and alternate in the second half and come in with fresh legs and give him like 10 carries just to waste the clock down. And to me, the odd man out there is Amir Abdullah, and I love Kerryon Johnson in this scheme, and I'm interested to see what Patricia does with him.
I think Amir Abdullah is also the odd man out here. I think that if Kerryon Johnson does anything whatsoever in preseason, then I think he's gonna be that role.
Like, he can easily beat out LeGarrette Blount as like the starter, but
he should beat out LeGarrette Blount.
I don't
he's a
see
younger
them
guy coming in.
I don't see them doing the New England Patriot thing though, where they're rotating 4 or 5 guys. Like, I don't think that's going to be. I think it's going to be Kerryon and Blount as the first and second downs, and then Theo Riddick, and then Theo Riddick will finally say, hey, look, it's my job now. I don't have to worry about Amir Abdullah and trying to work things out of who's the goal line, who's this, when it's 2 tiny little backs. All you have to do, Theo Riddick, is just catch on third down, and you're fine.
You don't think Patricia tries to run it the same way that Belichick ran it because that's where he came from?
No.
I mean,
I don't.
I hope you're right, because I would rather not see a 5-guy committee.
Okay.
Well,
me either.
I would like to see them do something with Abdullah and get him out of there.
Me too.
Because you can't just have him on the roster and not use him. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to get some work. I do think it's Kerryon Johnson. I don't think. I think LeGarrette Blount is more of like maybe the goal line guy, the guy when they need to pound it in. Maybe they need to get a first down.
3rd and 1. Yeah.
Right, for sure. I think Kerryon, he's got a decent size, and he's had workload. He's had good games against SEC competition. Like, I'm looking at right here, he played Alabama. He had 30 carries for 104 yards and a touchdown. He played Georgia twice. One was kind of a dud, but the other one was 32 carries for 167 yards.
Yeah, he got the whole load the whole workload this year, and there was no one else splitting their touches and whatever. And because who was up before that in Auburn? Didn't he split with who's the dude that was there 2 years ago with Kerryon? Sorry, they made to put you on the spot there.
I know, man. You just made me blank for sure.
Well, he was there right now. Wasn't it Cameron Petway was there?
Oh, Petway was there this year. Yeah,
but before
he
that,
came out as well.
Yeah. We'll have to look it up.
Yeah, hold up.
I can picture his face.
Continue, boys.
It's going to be so. As soon as he says the name, we're like, how the hell do we not pull that? But either way, I think that he fits in perfect with the system, and I'm anxious to see what our running game looks like because the running game has been so bad in Detroit that it's going to take so much pressure off of Matt Stafford and make it to where he can open up the passing game instead of him having to literally throw on 1st and 2nd down when we're ahead because that doesn't help anybody. Being up and then having to pass on every single down to try to keep the clock rolling with little short slant routes. Maybe some of the receivers take a hit on Detroit. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean,
targets.
He's another guy, too. I also see going in the 1st round of Dynasty.
Do you think he goes top 10 in a Dynasty
rookie
draft?
I think he's going to go the 10, 11, 12 spot.
So if it's you and you need running back help, though, and you have the 9th pick overall, I could see him going ahead of, like, Cortland Sutton. I could see him going ahead of Christian Kirk.
Yeah, if you have a team drafting for needs rather than drafting the best available player, yes. I think he's going to be drafted after Ronald Jones.
There's just been the running backs right now are getting so hyped up because of what you guys said on a previous episode with the rookie running backs coming out and producing right away.
Yes.
The last 3 seasons or so, it's happened, and it's getting more and more. So in a dynasty league, if you're okay at every position and you're just taking the best guy, I could see Kerryon Johnson going as high as like number 7 or 8. And it going like 6 or 7 running backs in a row because everyone's like, well, if I don't get a running back now, it's a huge drop-off after Kerryon Johnson.
Every rookie mock I've seen, it does not have any quarterbacks or tight ends going in the 1st round. So
okay.
you're talking about 8. You're talking about 8 running backs,
4 receivers,
and 4 receivers, and you're probably going to have more than likely 6 to start the draft. 6 running backs.
Right.
And is that a factor of everyone seeing the rookie hype train, or is that just a factor
of...
No,
I think that the running backs
class... The receivers class is just very muddled.
And it's not that the receiving class is bad, it's just they're so close together. It's not like there's 2 or 3 studs and then there's like tiers. It almost seems like it's like 4 guys in the 1st tier, then another 4 or 5 guys in the 2nd tier, and people would rather take a shot on a running back that landed in a good situation over a wide receiver that's just like... Could be anything. It could be nothing,
right.
You know. And the receiver class, from what everyone says, next season is supposed to be the season of 2019 that's stacked with with receivers. I'm sorry. This year is the year of the running back, and they will go early and often. Peyton Barber.
It was like 2 years ago. It was Peyton Barber. The last 2 years it's been Cameron Petway and Kerryon Johnson, basically.
I think we were kind of thinking of Petway because we talked about him on some previous stuff too.
I just it was the first time that he got 30 carries and he did well, so he can carry the workload. If something happens, the injuries, LeGarrette Blount goes down. I feel very good that Kerryon Johnson come in and produce.
All right, so now we're moving along.
We are finally
to the boy that fell and slid, and for some reason was the 7th running back taken, who everybody thought was for sure the number 2.
Yeah, and they said in the 1st round.
And he fell into the 3rd round. And he falls all the way to the Washington Redskins. He gets drafted.
Late 2nd.
227. Right?
59th overall.
Yeah. Yes, 59 to 227 overall. He'll be 21 when the season starts. Darius Geis out of LSU, 5'11". Almost the same kind of build as Saquon. Not quite as heavy, 225-ish, but that's a good weight. That's a good BMI for a running back that I like.
Body mass index.
I don't like him too light. I like a little 215, 220.
Like a little thicker.
And above. Not more than 240, though.
Slim fit.
That's fullback territory.
My take on Darius Geis is I love the talent. I'm a little leery about where he went. And I wrote down a couple of notes of why. You have a new quarterback coming in Alex Smith. You lose Terrell Pryor, which was nothing really last year anyways. but the receiving core there is they're not that great yet. They're all young. None of them have really hit their stride of like their full potential yet, and that might happen this year with Alex Smith being an accurate quarterback. That could be good for them, but they haven't gotten over that hump yet. Then you have Jordan Reed, who gets hurt every single season, so you can't really count him even in the offense as staying healthy for all 16 games. So I don't know if that hurts or helps Darius guys, because if I'm playing the Redskins, I'm putting 8 guys in the box, and I'm making Alex Smith beat me with Josh Doxson and Jamison Crowder and the crew there, and feeling pretty good about that.
Paul Richardson.
Exactly. It's like guys that could be good. They could be really good, but they just haven't done it yet. And then you have guys. And then look at the other thing that I didn't like is look at the past. Look at the past running backs that the Washington Redskins have taken. You have Rob Kelly, didn't work out. You have he didn't really get much of a shot, but when he did, he didn't do much. And then you also have Samaje Perine, who they took, who played a couple of games and he got hurt and didn't really get a full season's work either. You have Chris Thompson, who's just a third down back, and now you add Darius Geis. None of those guys are like steady guys, which means that Geis could walk in and get the job right away, but there's this, I don't know how he walks right in and takes a starting job from 2 guys that haven't really had an opportunity to prove themselves.
To me, I loved
Healthy.
Geis before the draft, and now I like him. Like, I'm not in love with him,
but the talent is
like
there.
him.
The talent is for sure there.
I wanted him from a fantasy perspective, not from like a fan perspective, but from a fantasy perspective, I wanted him in either Detroit or Tampa. Those were the 2 teams that I wanted to see.
You're a Redskin fan, Travis. You're not worried at all about like the offensive line or like the system that he's in with the people that are around him? I mean, do you like the fit?
I think it's a good landing spot. As far as I'm not saying they're going to be world beaters and they got the best offensive line or anything like that, but I think he's going to get the volume. I think he's a guy that was supposed to go a lot higher than he did. All those other guys that you mentioned, they weren't high draft picks. They weren't high prospects. This kid is going to come in and he doesn't have much competition. So I think he's definitely good. And like you said, the talent is there, and everybody basically knows the talent is there. It was just weird stuff before the draft. It started coming out, and it made a slide. And it's very odd, but I feel like it's a value for the Redskins because there's no way they should have got guys.
Truth be told, Kerryon Johnson went at 2 second round, 11th pick to Detroit. I was praying they went Darius Geis, and I was very pissed that when I heard Kerryon Johnson, I'm like, okay, if they didn't go running back there, I would be like, all right, like they didn't go running back, we need somewhere else. But if you're gonna specifically go to the running back position and you're taking Kerryon Johnson over Darius Geis, that kind of pissed me off because I think talent-wise, Darius Geis is a lot more talented than Kerryon Johnson. Just my opinion. I would have loved Darius Geis to fall to Detroit instead of going to the Washington Redskins, but that's not the way it worked out.
So who leaked all the stories about him? That raised all the character flag issues. I'm not saying
know.
they're all true.
I don't know.
But somebody clearly had it out for him because the week or 2 before the draft, all this random stuff started coming out about how he did terrible in the interviews and how he got in a screaming match with the Eagles brass in the interview and how they were asking him weird questions, and then NFL did an investigation on those questions that teams were asking him, and they said they never said that. And the NFL
he had some sketchy stuff happen in college from what I read about like homosexual activity that like maybe that may or may not have happened, and I think that's why he kind of threw out that question about the Eagles, saying that they were asking him personal questions about his sexuality.
They said, they asked him they asked him, do you like men?
And it wasn't true.
Yeah.
They're saying, I don't know
When
how
the NFL investigated, they said that they could not find any evidence supporting that.
Right, I'm saying it was, okay, right.
I mean, I don't really care if this guy likes boys or not.
I could care less either, but in the NFL locker room, they tend to care, and that's
I don't know.
Teams are scared to take a guy.
I don't know. I think that's
you don't think so?
No, I think that's a media thing. That's an outsider's looking in thing. You don't think there's gay players? There's probably a ton of gay players in every sport.
Here's a good rebuttal of that. There probably is, but do you know them? Do you know who they are? No, because they don't come out because they're so scared to come out because of the NFL locker room, the way that they think they're going to be treated.
I don't think it's the locker room. I think it's outside the locker room. I
Everyone.
think the locker room will probably embrace their teammate and their brother.
No, I think that's the opposite. I think the outside, like being in 2018, I don't think the majority of America cares. I mean, maybe you have some cities that may.
I think that's false.
Maybe you have some cities that may, where it's predominantly like they side on that side. But I think that during 2018, I don't think anybody cares.
I think 2018, there's a whole lot wrong with the world that's going on, and I don't think
for sure.
I don't think that means anything.
But
like
in a quote unquote manly locker room where everyone's walking around and like it's like it's like a macho thing. It's like people will treat you differently if they think that you go the other side. And I could care less if I have a fantasy football player that is or is not gay. Like, I don't care. I really don't. But I think in the locker room, it's got that feel of like it's a scary thing to open up to your teammates in that way. And I think that something happened or something was said, and there's no reason why Darius Geis can't be the leading running back rookie class coming out with the Washington Redskins. I agree with that. He's another guy that I think that might outscore Barkley if he's in the right. If he just walks into week 1, he's the starter.
I don't think that. Knowing the way Gruden kind of plays his hand, I don't think that they even try to attempt to pass him the ball very much. I think they're strictly going to use Chris Thompson in that role, and I don't think they're going to give guys a chance whether he can catch or not.
Until he starts running over people, and they're like, damn, maybe we got to get this guy the ball in space. Throw him a couple of screens and little pitches and
That's
stuff.
a big if, though.
Yeah.
You have some guys that just don't play rookies that often. Like you just don't. Yeah, John Fox is also notorious, and he's out of a job now. But
so it works.
As far as Geis goes for me, and as far as a lot of stuff goes, when it comes to the rookies coming out and just the stuff you start to hear and all this, I don't want to call it smokescreen or whatever, but you hear a lot of random stuff. Like, what have you heard since the draft about Geis?
Nothing.
Not a thing. So it's almost
zero. Yeah.
Almost
everyone tries to screw. There's people out there, unfortunately, that have bad intentions, and they'll have a video of you or a text message from you from 5 years ago, and they try to you're going to the NFL now. Like, let's, you know what I mean? Like, people want to use you because you're going to be this star athlete or this pro athlete, and people look to get paid off or they look to get whatever, just attention. Is all it is for attention and money.
But that's what I'm saying.
And they'll throw out anything and hope that it sticks.
Who throws stuff out like that out before the draft, right? But then you turn around and Christian Kirk,
exes, friends that used to be friends and now they're not friends because you didn't get them tickets to the football game. Like, dude,
Christian
Kirk
Kirk gets arrested a week or a week and a half before the actual draft.
No one hears about it.
No one hears about it. The media doesn't put that out,
right.
And it was like a legitimate, like, he got arrested and he was kicked out of the Waste Management Phoenix Open.
Because he was throwing rocks at cars.
He was drunk, and he got kicked out because he was drunk, him and his buddy. And as they were leaving, they started throwing rocks at cars, and they broke one of the windows. But they were throwing rocks at cars.
I believe they call that disorderly conduct.
Yes.
So, yeah, definitely.
But no one heard a word about it.
No. I was very surprised to see, like, today I saw the tweet. I got the first news of it today on Tuesday, the 15th of May. And I was like, wait a minute, this just happened? Like, what is this kid thinking? But I read the article, and I'm like, wait a minute, this happened before the draft?
They said Arizona knew about it.
Yeah,
they knew about
it. So, like, well, somebody on wherever I was reading was like, okay, so everyone loved Christian Kirk. Like, how do you like him now? Doesn't change anything for me. Like,
no, nothing for me either.
Does that change anything at all? Like, did you drop him at all?
I didn't drop him one spot.
Not one spot. So
not at all. Especially if the team knew about it. They already talked to him about it. Though everything with Christian Kirk is his work ethic, and he's that's the kind of high character guy. So that's why I was taken aback. Like, whoa, this high character guy, and he's getting drunk all of a sudden.
But from what I hear from Waste Management, the actual golf tournament itself, it literally is a gigantic like drinking party. It's the one fun event for golfers that basically invite anybody and everybody out there to just drink as much as you want. You can make noise, you can kind of yell, you can kind of be loud, and it's not taken so serious like it usually is. So I could see him going there with his buddies and drinking for free the entire time and getting hooked up and just getting too drunk and acting out and being pissed off and whatever. He's 20 years old, isn't he? Or 21?
He's young.
I mean, how many people did that when we were 20 years old?
Baker Mayfield got arrested and tried to juke the police, and he got drafted number 1 overall.
Right. So, I mean, people are going to make mistakes. It's not like he's doing anything violent, like beating on other people or doing something major.
But that's just my point, is that the Arizona Cardinals knew about that. Kirk didn't slide. He got taken where he was supposed to get taken.
Why did
Baker Mayfield, they knew about his arrest in college, and it was just a kid being a drunk college kid. So why all of a sudden all this stuff about Geis, and he's supposed to go first round, top 20, and he slides to the back end of the second round? That was my whole point with it, is that why? Why is this character stuff all of a sudden pop up and it's like, oh my God, he's the worst. Darius Geis is so terrible, this and that. But it's like Kirk gets arrested and it's like, yeah, that's okay. I'm still okay on it. Baker Mayfield gets arrested, that's okay.
The only thing I can think of is that it's history. You know what I mean? It's if you're a good kid, quote unquote good kid, never been arrested, never had a ticket, hard worker, your coaches all love you, you're the strength and training coach, like every coach in the world, everyone has good things to say about you. When that came out, I'm sure immediately reporters started calling like the head coach for where Christian Kirk came out of, where A&M. Called the coach at A&M. That's another thing. He went to Texas A&M. Texas A&M is like one of those schools. It's like it's It's meant for like upstanding military type, students. Whereas if somebody has a history of getting into trouble while they're, let's say like Darius Geis at LSU, maybe always showed up late to practice or whatever, like it's a history thing. It's if it's happened one time, usually teams will let it slide. If it's something that's happened multiple times and you start fact checking, like, hey, how's Darius Geis as a player? Does he show up on time? Is he a good worker? And people start slamming him, then they're like, okay, like I'm gonna drop him my rankings. So like, wow, I never thought Christian Kirk would get in trouble. I can't believe
kind
this.
of like the story you guys heard with Josh Rosen. When the one coach ran into the volleyball coach in the airport or whatever.
Yeah, and he asked him straight up. He's like, how is he? He's like, oh, well, ask his girlfriend if you really want to know about it. So it's like, oh, shit, like that's a pretty alarming.
Right.
So have you heard anything like that about guys coming out of LSU?
No.
Like I've heard the opposite.
Right. That's why I can't put my finger on it. There's got to be something.
It reeks to me of people in power, the NFL or owners or teams. It has that feel of a good old boy organization still to this day. There's billionaires that own these teams.
All white
They
people.
all get together and they do, they figure things out. They have their owners' meetings, all that kind of stuff. They all kind of work together. So if something happened and then, some guy put the word out and it's like, look, this kid, whatever, he doesn't want to, maybe they did ask him something and he didn't get the answer that they wanted to hear.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have that power to, all they have to do is put one little thing out, one tiny little thing out,
and
it will affect, his stock clearly, and his
wallet,
his ability to make money, his career.
Mm-hmm.
So it reeks to me of something like that, and it's because you don't hear anything now. The Philly, like Doug Peterson or something, he was asked about it, and he said nothing ever took place with. Like they made it seem like there was an altercation.
Yeah,
like it was odd, very very odd.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways,
I think there'll be more that comes out on that, but. Let's move on to the next running back here. They went right past the third round. Didn't take a running back. The NFC didn't. And jumped right to the fourth round. 126th pick overall. Ito Smith to Atlanta Falcons.
Ito Smith, the 11th running back taken.
Mm-hmm.
23 when the season starts. Born on 9/11. That's kind of it's a rough birthday nowadays to have.
not 2001 though, probably.
Probably not. He wouldn't be 24.
I like Ito Smith, and the reason why I like him is because I don't think he's going to have much fantasy relevance this year. But Tevin Coleman is in his last year of his contract. There's no way I see how they could possibly pay Tevin Coleman again in Atlanta after just giving a gigantic $30 million a year contract to Matt Ryan. They've already paid Devontae Freeman his contract extension, so he's locked in there for a few more years. You've already paid Julio so much money as well. You're not spending another $8 to $10 million on a quote-unquote 1A running back. So you go out and you draft Ito Smith, who's 5'9", 200 pounds, and does, to me, the exact same thing that they want Tevin Coleman to do. So they slide him in there for a year. He waits behind Coleman and Freeman, and basically they let Coleman go at the end of the season, and Ito Smith goes right into that role. So I love the pick for Atlanta. If I don't need a guy to produce right away, I'm all in on Ito Smith, knowing that 2019 season could be a season where he actually gets a lot of work behind Devontae Freeman in the same role.
Here's why I disagree. Here's why I don't like Ito Smith.
He went to Southern Miss?
No. He's on the smaller side. He's 5'9", 198 pounds. And yes, he can catch the ball, but here's my opinion on this, is that Tevin Coleman was the 1B to Devontae Freeman's 1A when Shanahan was there. He ran that two-back set where there was no clear-cut starter.
What?
He's not there anymore at Sarkisian.
What?
So it doesn't mean that they're going to use Ito Smith the same exact way as Tevin Coleman, because once Tevin Coleman leaves, I agree that they're not going to pay him and have two starting running backs.
Right, so
paying both those guys.
It's just Freeman and that's it.
I don't think Freeman's backup, like surefire backup, is on the team right now. I really don't. It doesn't mean they're going to sign a free agent this year, but they could draft somebody bigger next year that has a little bit more pedigree, maybe draft in the first, second, third round instead of fourth. And I think that Ito Smith is just going to be one of those guys.
But where he's going in rookie drafts in the late third round or middle third round,
it's worth a shot. Yeah, definitely. It's not like he's being drafted too
and like
high.
you said, he can catch. So worst case scenario, maybe you're right. Maybe they don't, but he'll still be there getting catches in Atlanta's offense because they run a lot of plays there. It's a high-powered offense. They'll find a spot for him, I think. Fourth round, and it was late fourth round. That to me is right in the middle of the draft. Yeah, you're right. He's not a first or second round pick, but They don't need him to produce right away.
I just don't think that, like, right now, if Freeman was to go out for an extended period of time,
it would
I
be
think
Coleman and Ito Smith.
I think Coleman's the guy, is the main guy. Okay, just like it was the last couple of years. They were ready to hand the reins over to Tevin Coleman before he got hurt the season that Freeman broke out. So Coleman can very well handle most of the duties. All I'm saying is that once Tevin Coleman is gone, if Devontae Freeman was to get hurt, I don't think Ito Smith can hold up to that. He's not the same type of guy that Tevin Coleman is.
How big do you think Tevin Coleman is?
Wait a minute.
Go ahead, Travis, please.
Repeat what you just said. With who gets hurt? If Tevin Coleman gets hurt, or did you say Freeman gets hurt?
No, I said if Freeman gets hurt next year,
Right.
and Tevin Coleman's no longer on the team, I don't think they just hand the reins to Ito Smith like they would if Tevin Coleman was the backup. I think they draft somebody a little bit bigger next year, or they bring in another free agent next year that can compete and be a backup to Devontae Freeman that's going to be better than Ito Smith.
Well, I don't think the argument is for Ito Smith that he will be
Tevin Coleman. That's what James just said.
Well, a guy that takes over.
I'm not saying. I'm saying
if
slide
the starter
into the
goes
role.
down. He's not the type of guy that's going to take over starter role.
Correct. He'll be the split back guy to come change the pace back, third down, pass catching back, but he will get chances. He will get touches for sure, in my opinion. How big now? Answer my question. How big do you think Tevin Coleman is? What's his height and weight?
I already said I don't know.
Okay, he's 6'1".
Yikes.
203. So literally,
he's bigger.
5 pounds
He's
heavier.
taller.
Yeah, he's 2 inches or 3 inches taller.
But he's lean.
But he's yeah. I was gonna say he's only 5 pounds, 6 pounds more. So it's not like Ito Smith is tiny compared to Tevin Coleman.
Well, height wise, he is.
Yeah, but weight wise, if you have a 200, I don't want to do this discussion again.
Well,
but
his BMI at 5'9", being like 200 pounds, is nice and stocky. Like looking at his measurements and stuff, it reminds me like a Tariq Cohen kind of thing, where it's like a small guy, but he's stockier. He's not just like
not lean.
Being tall and lean and whatever. But Coleman's got some talent for sure. For Ito Smith, for me, is a definite. It's not a dart throw, but it's a shot. And
because you're waiting
third round or whatever. But I really need to see this guy on the field. Like I want to see him in the NFL with NFL guys. Like with Tariq Cohen, it was the same thing. I was like, this kid, okay, whatever. He does a backflip and catches the ball. Okay, cool. But then you see him on the field, and you're like, okay, this kid's kind of electric. This kid's got some talent, and I can see him getting meaningful work fantasy-wise. And for me, Ito Smith is a wait and see. He's not a guy I'm really going to jump on and take a chance on.
That's why that was my whole argument to the thing is that James had said that once Tevin Coleman leaves, he slides into the Tevin Coleman role.
He could, I said.
He won't.
It's not a guarantee. I'm just saying that if he does, then that's great.
He's going to be a career backup.
No,
he's never going to be a starting running back.
Tell me something though. You're at 307, 308, 309, or whatever in the rookie draft, and you go and you take Ito Smith. It's not like you're drafting somebody in the first or second round. Like it's like you said, it's a kind of a throw at the dart throw. And then Tevin Coleman does go out, and they do start using Ito Smith in just that role. It doesn't necessarily have to be as much as Tevin Coleman's getting, but that to me is a home run and late in the third round because who are the other running backs that are going around Ito Smith in that area? Boston Scott, like Trenton Kent, like all these guys. Who would you rather have all those guys?
I would rather take if you're looking at just this, and this obviously the draft order, but if you can get someone like John Kelly, to where if Gurley went down, Kelly would probably be the starter. I'd rather have that because he actually has a chance to be a starter down the road, whereas Ito Smith is never going to be a starter running back.
The running backs from my rankings that are going around him is Naheem Hines, who I also like as well, and then after that you have Josh Adams, Jordan Wilkins, Chase Edmonds, John Kelly. Which one of those guys are you going to take a shot at? John Kelly. Okay.
Okay. This is the thing.
John Kelly is going to be behind Todd Gurley.
Right.
Good luck.
Right.
Okay, go ahead, Travis.
He is one thing away from having meaningful playing time if he's able to kind of succeed in training camp and all that kind of stuff. I agree with the John Kelly thing. But as an owner of Malcolm Brown, who is a decent running back and has been in the same situation, that's basically just the stash and forget about it. And if it does happen, great. You have a guy you can plug in or a guy you can turn around and flip.
Okay, so he gets hurt. If Gurley gets hurt, if Gurley gets hurt today, week 1, he's out for the rest of the season, what happens in that backfield? Does Malcolm Brown get the 70-30 split? Do you think it's because they only run Gurley? They rarely take Gurley out of any kind of split. So do they just keep that and they say, hey, we're going to go one running back and it's going to be Malcolm Brown or John Kelly?
Well, by all accounts from the things that I've read and heard, Kelly's better a better prospect than Malcolm Brown.
Right, I agree.
If Kelly doesn't just crap the bed, then he probably is going to be the number 2. And Malcolm Brown's coming up on the end of his rookie deal, so he's probably going to be gone. So
Kelly got drafted in the 6th round.
Yeah,
we're talking 6th round here.
When you have Gurley, that's kind of what you do. Like if you don't have somebody to go after, and he's a guy that has decent measurables and profile, but you're probably not wanting him to be your starting guy because you got Gurley. I think what I'm hearing from you about Ito Smith is that he could probably be like a Chris Thompson. Like if all these injuries and all this kind of stuff happens, and he's already kind of a pass catcher, that maybe he gets a little bit more workload and he can be very viable for you. And like if I was a Chris Thompson owner myself, and like if I was an Ito Smith and I drafted him, when he flashed like that, I would look to flip him.
For sure.
Me, he's a flip candidate kind of guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's not a guy I'm going to draft to want to be really part of my team.
Yeah, I'm not going to use him as a running back too. I don't expect him to be this great running back. I just think that for where he's being drafted at, might as well take a stab in the dark.
Okay.
Who's up?
Are we okay, boys?
Yeah, I'm totally fine.
Yeah.
We can't agree on everything. Makes for a very boring show.
So next running back off the board is Chase Edmonds, who got drafted by the Arizona Cardinals. 4th round, pick 34 of the 4th round.
134 overall, the 13th running back off the board.
From Fordham.
University.
Another 5'9", 205 guy.
A smaller, kind of pass catcher, kind of roll kind of guy, 3rd down kind of guy.
Who does he have to beat out to be David Johnson's backup? We have DJ Foster and another dude that got.
Unless TJ Logan is anything.
Yeah, I think that'd be a full-blown committee if David Johnson goes out again. I think it's a full-blown committee with these guys. They all do a little something different.
Yeah, I don't know who the other, like, bigger body back would be. Like, TJ Logan is stocky, but he's a small guy as well.
Kerwin Williams is gone, and he was the backup last year. He's gone. He's moved on to Kansas City.
Got to stay healthy, David. Got to stay healthy. But Chase Edmonds, I think it's it's an Ito Smith situation to me. Like he's behind a good back. He's in a backfield that, depending on how things shake out in training camp, yeah, he might be the second in line or relatively for more meaningful stuff. But he's not a guy that I'm going to look to target. For me, definitely, I'm not going to really target him.
But he's another guy that's probably going into the 4th rounds of rookie drafts, maybe the 5th, but more than likely the 4th.
Yeah, he's pretty deep. We're getting into some deep territory with the NFC guys now.
Yeah, which we can actually move on to the guy we just kind of spent a little bit of time on here is 6th round pick, like you talked about, John Kelly taking 176 overall out of Tennessee, and I think we can all agree that we were all pretty bummed about his landing spot because he's behind Gurley.
Yeah, why did he slide so far? I mean, like Travis said, the Rams took him there where they took him because they have Gurley, but how did he get that far? How did he go? How are the last 2 guys we just mentioned? Ito Smith, the Chase Edmonds, Kalen Ballage we didn't mention, all these other, Naheem Hines, like he went behind all those guys. He went behind Jordan Wilkins. Like, why? He did very well at Tennessee. He's an aggressive runner, very violent runner type of guy, doesn't mind contact, seems like he can catch okay. Doesn't mind contact at all. I mean, he did run a 4.64 on his pro day, which kind of hurt him a little bit, but 6th round we're talking? Yeah. I thought for sure he was looking at like the 4th, maybe 5th at the worst. Fall all the way to the 6th. That's bad.
I've heard this is another guy. There's a lot of guys that are John Kelly backers, and they're very high on him.
They're all from Tennessee.
I've also heard that he has that style, the running style you described, but it's also... It falls into the category of that try-hard guy. He may not be super, gifted athletically, but he's a very hard runner. He didn't show out in his measurables, and that does have an effect on some of your stock, especially when you get kind of deeper. And it's a deep class. There's some good running backs at the top. I do like him as well, but being buried on a team, I don't think we ever get a chance to see what he has.
Right.
Yeah,
if he goes behind early and
if he doesn't get hurt, we may not even hear
John Kelly's career's over
for 4 years.
Right.
Until he's out of his rookie deal.
Like, imagine 3 full years go by and Gurley doesn't miss any games. How many fantasy points total in that 3 years is John Kelly getting? 50?
And that's what kind of sucks about the Dynasty League is because if you want to grab him as a good handcuff, if you're a Todd Gurley owner...
It might be a wasted pick, but to me that wouldn't be wasted. That's a clear cut, like, look, I'm going to make sure that if Gurley does go down, you have John Kelly, and you're not going to... He's not going like in the 2nd round anymore. He dropped He dropped like super far.
No, back in third. I mean, it's far from where he was.
Round and a half, probably.
Back in third?
In ADP. He was going like from somewhere in the 306 to 312 range.
Man,
I almost dropped him off my entire board.
well, for me,
Well, I'm not ready to do that.
For me, prior to
He's
where
on the
he
third.
landed,
He's on the third page.
his weight for me, he's not a big enough back.
215. What do you want?
Yeah, but it's not big enough necessarily. It's right there.
You said you like 215, or what'd you say? 215 to 225.
Optimally, I like 220 to 230.
That changed a little bit. 230. That's big, man.
But I'm just saying, as far as why he wasn't drafted in a different
He likes
situation,
tight ends.
maybe he's yeah.
You know where I thought would have been good for him is the Colts, who took Jordan Wilkins just a few picks, actually 4 or 5 picks right before him. What if they drafted John Kelly? They get an aggressive running back that can be the first and second down guy with Marlon Mack, and they already drafted Naheem Hines, but clearly they didn't care because they took another guy in Jordan Wilkins. So you draft a small Naheem Hines and then a bigger back, Jordan Wilkins, when John Kelly's still on the board. I was very confused by that. I think John Kelly would have been a way better fit in Indianapolis, and I think that his ADP would reflect that, and he would still be a second-round pick in rookie drafts if he if he got drafted in a better situation. Like, that was the absolute worst situation for him, is to go behind Gurley. Is there any other situation where he goes that's worse than that? Ezekiel Elliott?
No, because even if he goes behind Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh,
that's what I'm saying.
There's still a possibility that Bell might be gone next year.
There's not a worse spot.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So,
It ain't
I
good.
mean, I'm cheering for you, John Kelly. I think he's got talent, but I just don't know if we're going to ever see it until he gets out of his rookie contract, or maybe he, demands a trade. I don't know how he's getting out of that.
Barring injury,
4 years from
or
now.
we just get to see him in preseason.
Maybe you hang on to him for 3 years and wait till he pops, and then boom,
Bang! If you own Todd Gurley, he's a good handcuff.
kaboom, explosion. Who's next?
Boston Scott, 6th rounder, also 201 overall. The Saints drafted him as the 16th running back off the board. It's another small guy. The league's kind of doing
Kamara.
these kind of things. There's been these smaller guys.
Alvin Kamara 2.0.
At 5'7", I tower over this guy.
Absolutely not. Do not compare this guy to Alvin Kamara.
I'm saying his size. 5'7", 197. I mean, very stocky. Very, very stocky. Damn, 5'7", 197?
Dude, his
He can't fit
center
through a
of
door.
Gravity is like
He can't fit through the door walking regular. He's got to go sideways,
he
probably.
can fit through the doggy door. He's so short.
Wow.
Wow. That was-
Damn.
No?
Savage. I don't know.
Sorry.
Sorry.
This is an interesting one because
He can go under the Dutch door.
the Dutch door.
What is that
No,
door?
it's
that has
a... No.
The Dutch oven?
No, that's that half door.
Where it's a top half and a bottom half.
The
You
waiter, the something waiter, right?
I don't know.
Check, please.
The blind waiter? No.
Check, please.
Anyways.
Does anyone agree that no one was even talking about this guy like really seriously until Mark Ingram got the 4-game suspension?
Yeah. I agree.
Does he get any action in that 4 games?
I think he'll get a little bit.
On the field or off the field?
So he's probably doing very well for himself off the field. 5'7", 197.
I don't know, man. Girls, they're not too keen on.
Until they
Yeah, but
find out he's a
five-
saint, and then all of a sudden
No,
it
I
changes.
think it's more of
Who
like
that there over in the corner at the bar?
I think it's more of a girls look at guys that if they're under 6 foot tall, they're like they look at them like they're 5'2". Like you can be 5'11", and they're like, oh my god, you're 5'11", and they think immediately in their head like, dude, I'd probably tower over this guy. Or you're like, you're 6 foot, then you're like, now you're, you know what I mean?
Like 6'5".
Yeah, like, well, oh my god, he's dreamy, he's 6'1", but if he was 5'11", he's just a midget, you know? So
It's weird how that works.
good luck, Boston. But actually, on the field, I don't know how much playing time he gets. I think they go primarily towards Kamara, and there. You know who else was there? Is
Williams.
Jonathan Williams. So I think they use Jonathan Williams on first and second down with Kamara as the lead. I mean, sorry, the change of pace back. He'll definitely get more touches. I think Kamara will. But as far as outside of Kamara, I think that Jonathan Williams gets more touches than Boston Scott here.
Yeah, Boston Scott's
I prefer Boston Rob from Survivor, but
Yeah.
over Boston Scott.
he's got some skills. Boston Robs.
Boston Rob's older too, so he had the name first.
He's probably over 6 foot tall though.
Boston Rob, Boston Scott. I mean, it's
Right.
close.
Right. Twinsies.
Yeah.
Who else we got?
Next
Wrap
on
up
the
the
list,
drafted.
Let's wrap up the drafted.
Bo Scott, Bo Scarborough.
Mm-hmm.
Ezekiel Elliott's back up now.
6'1", 228. This is right up your alley.
I
Yes,
like
for
this.
sure.
I
No,
like
I-
this as a backup.
No, definitely. If Elliott goes down, this is better than Morris.
Right.
This is better than. I mean, Rod Smith is a different kind of back, and Rod Smith will still probably get some action because he's
This is one of those guys that I liked. I don't know if I told you guys off air or on air or whatever it was, but I love this guy coming out because of where he's being drafted ADP before the NFL draft.
Mm-hmm.
I liked him. I liked his size. I thought that he could be the steal of a rookie draft if he did land in the right spot because of where he was going. As soon as he went to Dallas, now his ADP's dropped even below that because he's behind Elliott. But like you said, if he gets suspended or if Elliott gets hurt or whatever, I don't think there's any reason why he can't be the lead back there well over Morris and Rod Smith.
I agree. I don't even know if Morris under contract.
Yeah, I'm not even sure.
But either
Rod
way,
Smith is still there. But
he
like,
could walk in and be the number 2 guy.
Like Travis said, they used him a lot on receiving downs.
Yeah.
And I think that he's a better receiver than Bo Scarborough is. So I think it would be more of a Bo getting the first and second downs and Rod Smith getting the pass catch.
Yeah, Rod Smith's role probably wouldn't change. But
Right.
This guy would slide in to get
Maybe
more.
they kind of take a little bit of the workload off of Elliott and give Scarborough maybe 5 to 7 carries, like nothing crazy, but 5 to 7 like on third down goal line every once in a while.
I think that's what Dallas's whole game plan is going to be this
You don't
year.
want
is
to
I
give
think
him
they want to
400
just
carries.
run. You saw what they did in the receiving, with the receivers. They don't really have anybody.
Not much.
They have just a bunch of guys. Then you have Jason Witten retire. You have no tight end to replace him. I think they want to run the ball, 80% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
I think they want to do kind of like Jacksonville said last year. We want Blake Bortles to throw 5 times. I don't think they want, Dak Prescott to throw only 5 times.
4.
But they want him to do very, very, very limited throwing, and they want to be able to use more than just one running back.
That's why I think Scarborough gets
Right.
if he can first 4 weeks of the season they give him 5 to 7 touches and kind of see how he does, and if he does well, then maybe that takes a little bit of pressure
I agree.
off of Elliott.
If I'm a Zeke owner, I don't want Zeke running the ball 35 times a game.
I
That's just too much.
I agree.
Holy.
30, 28.
No, there was a
regardless.
couple games where he had 31, 32 carries. And I don't want that. I'd rather him run 25.
People always think that when I say that I'm joking about I like my guys to split. I don't want a guy that's going to touch the ball 30 times a game or let's say 375 touches because it's more injury towards the end of the season. They get exhausted, they're tired. That's a lot on your body to run the ball that many times and get hit in the NFL that many times. So if my guy's splitting, and I'm not talking 50-50 down the middle, but just enough to where it's like a 70-30 split, and he gets 20 carries is plenty. If you're not producing on 20 touches, then you're not that good of an NFL running back, and you should be in the game.
Come on.
20 touches a game?
It depends on situation. There's a lot of guys that
20
are
carries.
good running
That's
backs.
right.
You get 20 carries, and just because
No, I'm not talking about just one time. I'm talking about for the season. If you average 20 carries and you can't produce,
Okay, yeah.
on average, I'm saying,
Yeah.
then clearly you should be getting less touches. That's my opinion. Go ahead.
Okay, cool.
Here, let's wrap this up. I'll name off some undrafted free agents here. Obviously,
You
they're
want to talk
big.
about Nick Bodden?
Nick Bodden?
Nick Bodden, 7th round pick.
I didn't.
He didn't even make your list, did he?
Me either.
Wow, he was drafted, boys. 237 overall, 22 years old. Nick Bodden, the James Up's Detroit Lions drafted him. As a matter of fact.
Oh, that's a fullback. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why he's not on this running back list.
Okay. Yeah. No, he's a fullback. But yes, we took a fullback to again try to help us run the ball effectively. So we'll see how that works out. But I don't mind taking a fullback in the 7th round of the almost fourth to last pick. I think he was.
Like
or something.
a use check. Can he catch?
I don't know. I don't know much about him. I mean, there he is right there.
San Diego State, so he's behind Penny.
He blocked for Penny. Yes.
And Penny. Okay.
Sneaks contact and gets good initial pop. He's an above average pass blocker who shows good awareness and does above average job staying in front of his assignments.
Who catches
But we
the
didn't-
ball well.
We didn't have a fullback before that. 6'2", 245. I
That's a
mean,
big boy.
can't hurt us.
You guys needed an extra
That's a
running back
big
that
boy.
catches.
That's a big
Well, he's
boy.
not a running back, he's a
6'2",
fullback.
245. That's a big boy.
I agree. So he's the last one. We'll wrap it up. Jay, who's undrafted?
I'll name off the guys. You guys tell me if you're interested in talking about any one of these guys. There's a couple of names that actually sound pretty familiar. You have Josh Adams, went to Philadelphia Eagles. He played at Notre Dame. Martez Carter from Grambling, he went to Washington Redskins. Ryan Nall went to Chicago Bears. Rock Thomas, Minnesota Vikings, and the Vikings also signed Cameron Petway. And then Demario Richard, who was playing at San Diego State with Balaj. I'm sorry, not San Diego State, Arizona State. He went to Atlanta, and then they also brought in Justin Crawford, running back, to Atlanta Falcons as well.
Only one I think is Josh Adams. I think the way the Eagles use their running backs, he could get some touches, especially with Jay Jai. Didn't he get in trouble? Jay Jai?
Jay Jai
Trash in the mansion.
He's got
Okay.
some
From
legal
February.
issues.
From February.
It was a couple of days after the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay.
He trashed a mansion. The guy owner of the mansion said that he had to sign something about no parties. He damaged property inside the house. It was like a broken table, a couple other broken pieces of furniture. He tried to charge him like $25,000, and JHI got kind of physical with him. The owner said he pushed him, like he basically shoved him down. And
I think they were having a Chappelle Show marathon, right? He's like,
Okay.
F your couch.
Oh,
yeah,
it was,
maybe it was.
Yeah.
Maybe it was Rick James.
Yeah.
Okay, does he get suspended by the league?
Jay,
though?
Jai.
No, it won't
right.
be. It's just legal issues he'll have to deal with. This has. I mean, the NFL. I'm not putting it past them. They could do
I
anything
know,
they want.
that's what I'm saying.
But I don't think they're going to interfere in this. I think it's going to be more of just a legal issue. It'll be in the courts and I just want to know that that's a third player that's gotten in legal issues since they won the Super Bowl. The Eagles.
Okay, well, you want to end there? You got your zing in, then we'll move on.
Sure.
All right, let's crack the whole one.
Let's crack it.
Crack it up. 1 hour?
Somebody else have to piss super bad?
Yes, 1 hour and 12 seconds.